Yeah,
Look at his face.
yeah. Too up, too down.
Look at his
Hey,
face.
yeah.
Money.
Yeah, I wanted the crown and to be celebrated. I rented a tux and I ordered a mink. Stood in the mirror like mama, I made it. Proceeded to brushing the teeth in the sink. Caught me a grill and I'm so melanated. I polished the chain, I ain't gold in the link. And I got me a baby who gave me some babies. I'm raising a lady and building a king. Too cold, you too busy running with another man lane, I guess. Yeah, too bold. I be running on the one way, never change my set. Like, I don't ever use my signals. Yeah, I be in the lane myself. Yeah, I don't gotta change my mental. Yeah. And I ain't gotta chase my wealth, and I accept my daddy got a kingdom, and everything I ever got is his. If I ever got a problem, I'ma seek him. I never doubt him. Been about his biz, oh man, been at. I ain't gotta ride on the wave when the ocean is his. Close with the kid with a
What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
What it do, baby? It's your partner, Cliff and Dale, back in the saddle again, man, on another Friday edition of Real Estate Friday Training. Cliff, what's going on with you, big time? How you doing, brother?
Man, doing good, doing good. Had a good week. Man,
Yeah,
busy, but busy's
yeah.
always good, man. How was your week?
It was good. Extremely busy, man. Got closing a lot of bigger transactions, which is pretty cool domestically and internationally, man. So I've had some long nights, but it's been a good week, man. Number, I got to ask a question: did we get the bag?
Oh yeah, we got the bag this week. Yeah.
We got the bag, baby. Every week we get the bag, man. But man, Cliff, man, brother, let's jump into it, man. You know how we do it every single Friday, guys. We go right into the current market analysis. Again, you got to treat because you have a private equity investor and also a lender as well as a licensed appraiser training on this Friday, guys. So, Cliff, man, you actively in the market when it comes to appraising. What you seeing in the market, man? What's going on?
Well, I'm seeing. You know what? I'm actually seeing a lot more listings popping up a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just this week. It's just this week, so you never know. It could just be a blip, but I'm starting to see a little bit more of that. For the most
Mm.
part, prices are staying. Um,
Mm.
but what I did realize is I did do a couple of appraisals in a neighborhood that I flipped 3 houses in, so I know that neighborhood well.
Mm. Okay.
Man, the value of homes have gone up so much. So I flipped a home about
Mm.
4 years ago. So I got to see. I
Okay.
sold it. I know it well.
Yeah.
I sold it for, and this is another reason why you should keep houses. I sold that for I think 115.
Mm.
That area right now is going for about 215 in four
Woo!
years. Yeah,
Golly.
that was one of my rental properties. I had it for I think 2 or 3 years as a rental, and I bought that house for like 65, 70,000.
So we're talking about a 25% raise every single year for 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, with
I,
that type of movement in the market, what does
go
that tell you from an investor standpoint?
Oh man, the market's messed up. 25
Mm.
like that. It's crazy to get like 10, 15%. Maybe in some areas where you have older homes and they're getting huge renovations in that
Yeah.
area, you might see
Yeah.
something like that. But this is not that type of area. We're talking
It's
about the
not.
house I had was 3 to 1,200 square feet.
Little bit
Basic.
old house.
Right.
Basic house.
Simple. And I
Dang.
sold it for 115 in that area. I'm appraising the house I just appraised. I'm appraising in the a little bit higher, much higher than that, but right now easily 215. 100,000 in 4
Wow.
years.
And as a private equity or lender, so to speak, typically depending on your strategy, I looked at it as okay. I got to be a little bit more conservative on my lending. In other words, a higher credit score, right? More experience, right? Depending on if you're doing a rental scenario, how many rentals have you done in the last 3 years? If you're doing a flipping scenario, how many flips have you done in the last 3 years? Depending on your credit score, your liquidity, and your strategy, right, and your experience, right? That'll let me know what LTV to give you. It's very simple, guys. So Cliff is telling you from a appraiser standpoint and really an investor standpoint is those are gems. And you're right, Cliff. This proves your point because you said, and we both actually said it, but you really said that properties $300,000 and below, there's been there's been nothing tempered off. That's still hot. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. That's the bread and butter market that I like. I
Mm,
especially like homes under 200,000. The
yeah,
reason why is there's so few.
I agree.
There's
I
so
agree.
few. So you're just picking, and all you have to do is hold a little bit, and then those homes will they'll appreciate naturally because there's just no homes at that price point.
No homes available, guys. No homes
Right.
available at all. But hey, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. It's all good, baby. But again, what we're teaching on Fridays is not theory.
Mm.
This is what we do every single day. All right. So this ain't we ain't get this out of a book. And now we read books, but we read books, understanding, and then we actually begin to apply it. Now, are you seeing the same thing when it comes to anything at 300,000? Let's say 300,000, 350 to 750. What are you seeing in that market as far as days on market? What are you seeing?
350 up to 350 is still strong. I still think the number is about 400, 450. That's when you start seeing, because that's when you start cracking, getting close to 3,000 a month.
Oh,
That's what I've noticed.
got you.
The current rates we are right now, when you start getting close to 3 grand a month, now you're talking
Mhm.
about almost 40,000 a year in a mortgage payment.
Makes sense.
So when anybody under that 2,500, still strong around 2 grand. Most people can afford that, but I'm noticing right around 2,800, 3,000. That's when you start
Mm.
seeing people run into that issue.
Yes, sir, Cliff. You're right about that, man. I agree with that. Now, concerning that, let's go to 500,000 to about 900,000. What are you seeing? Those days on market. What are you seeing?
Days on market alone. I saw one the other day, 125 days. Still waiting. There's just not a market for that. Really, what I see is this is what's really happening. There's smart money in the market. The smart money is buying all cash in areas they
Mm.
couldn't buy before.
Mm.
They,
Mm.
I'm talking about luxury only. They're seeing
Oh, wow.
luxury drop so low because no one can afford that. Because now you're talking about $5,000 a month. You're talking about
Mm.
big money and stuff.
Yeah.
They spend 60 grand a year on a house. When you start
Hmm.
getting to that level, those prices are falling and being, you know what I mean, suppressed. Smart money is coming in buying those cash because they know as soon
Yeah.
as the interest rates drop, those luxury homes are going to go up easily 100, 200K quick.
Easy, easy
Mhm.
work. And notice Cliff was talking about monthly payments. People buy based
Right,
off
right.
of monthly payments, not the actual sales price. The sales price comes into effect when it comes to calculating your monthly payment, which is generated by an interest rate. Very simple, guys. It's not hard there. Because now, Cliff, and it's not a dumb question. $1 million and above, what you're seeing as far as DOM deals on market.
Those are, you know, $1 million and above. You got to understand for that market, 70% of those sales are cash.
Hmm.
So that's mostly a cash market. That's
Hmm.
real big money trying to save some taxes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Still, what you still see prices drop. It's still stagnant. Long days on market, but not as hurt. It's not as hit bad as the other market. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But it's still high.
It is high, and typically, guys, when someone says I'll pay all cash, when it comes to that type of arena, $1 million and above, it's not really cash; it's really a line of credit. Because what they're
Mm,
doing is they're using their equity or the value of their, let's say, their stock portfolio, and they're taking a short term bridge loan out of that one, paying it cash, and then closing on a secondary type of transaction with a bona fide mortgage. That's what they actually are doing.
mm, true.
That's what they're doing. It's real simple. So really, because no one is sitting there with 15, 20, $30 million in the bank just chilling. That's at work. It's at work. If that makes some sense. But yes, sir, man. Cliff, man, it's woo. This market has been something. Now, do you see the market getting hotter or colder in 2024?
Yeah, it's gonna get colder until I keep calling it. The first rate cut is it's gonna signal to the market we're only going up from here. We can't go down. If how could the market go down with rate cuts?
It couldn't, and the only way it goes down
Right.
is if you're trying to destroy the economy.
Yeah. And so they're gonna destroy it a little bit longer than like I saw I called April. I've been
Yeah, you
saying
did. You did.
April. Because once they
You did.
cut, they're gonna cut for this year and probably going into next year. We're gonna
Correct.
see how much they cut because we're gonna see how bad the economy is. Like right now,
Correct.
everybody knows, man, the stock market is good because the stock market is all a lot of millionaires throwing their money in the market. They got
I
nowhere else to
agree.
put it.
That's correct. That makes sense, man. That makes total sense, man. We on one there, brother. We on one there, man.
Right,
It's gonna
right.
be very interesting to see what's going down with people, man. Very interesting to see what's going on. But yes, sir, man. Now the Fed chairman is saying that the rate cuts and there'll be no rate cuts in the first quarter. When we think that rate cut's going to come?
Yeah, I say I think April. I think
So you
April.
so you're thinking the first part of the second quarter?
Yeah, yeah. I think they're gonna do it then, and I think they're not going. I think you're gonna see it coming. I don't think it's gonna
Okay.
be like they just gonna walk up and go, "We dropping 25." I think sometime maybe February, probably February, end of February, early March, you're gonna get a signal of the numbers look good. And when you first
Well,
hear the numbers look good, that's the signal to the market.
yeah, I can see that it being the signal. I don't think a quarter basis point is going to cause anything at all. It may give it a little blimp. I'm thinking maybe a point. Once you get to a point, that's when you begin to see a rally, so to speak. You agree? You disagree?
Nah, yeah, I agree. But but I'm trying to say too is that you already know if they dropping a quarter, they're gonna give a quarter because they just want to be like, because really what they're doing is they signaling to the market, this is the
Hmm.
beginning of many more.
I agree with that.
So you
How many
t-
cuts?
so
How many cuts we gonna have in 2020, 2024? You thinking
3 or 4.
3 or 4? I'm thinking about 5 or 6. Five,
Man,
six. Because,
you think the market's about to get real bad then?
well, because of the fact that the cost of living is going up so much, so that they have to go the extra mile because it's different than 2008 or any previous things because of the fact that people's cost of living is going up. And so that they have to incentivize people to get off the sidelines. The problem with that thing is, do they have the cash to get off the sidelines? Because the savings are at an all-time low, credit card debt is at an all-time high. It's over $1 trillion plus. Where is this extra cash going to come from?
Yeah, they starving. They starving the market because you getting
They are.
hit. Like you said, not only are things more expensive, like a
Mhm.
house, but then you got to buy that more expensive item with
Correct.
more expensive money.
Correct. 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 That
Man, man, man.
that is why I'm saying 5 or 6, because they have to get a little bit more aggressive because it's a PR stunt. It's a PR stunt. That's all it realistically is. And so, but my question is, you can do all the PR you want. If there's not any dollars on the sidelines that they can come off the sidelines, which is really the B and C paper borrowers come off the sidelines. If they can't borrow more money, it is what it is. That's why I think the better play is to be more aggressive in the oil and natural gas arena, because that then says, okay, that begins to uh, kind of more support the economy more, because right now it's being constrained right now, right? And we can begin monetizing that asset of ours, which can then begin to kind of settle the market. Then people can begin to say, okay, now people's wages can go up a little bit more, which is great. The prices of goods go down even more. Then you begin to see something. That's why you hear people on either be Trump or people on the campaign saying, "Well, Democrat, Republican, drill, baby, drill," because they understand that that's our most valuable asset.
Yeah, yeah, they got to do that. But they who knows what's gonna happen with oil? Oil is man, it's a political topic. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes, man. I still think I'm betting on the large upside though. I
Okay.
think you're gonna see a rally. I think 2025 is gonna be a very strong year.
I
Very
disagree.
strong.
I think it's going to be worse in 2024,
Mm.
and it's really predicated upon who wins the election, the severity of it, because I think people are not taking into account. People are barely making it. They're barely making it. They're barely paying their mortgages. they're barely paying their living expenses. Some are saying, I gotta pay this bill, but not this bill this month. People have 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah, it's because I mean it's pure math, man. You take a
Mhm.
look at it. There are hundreds of billions of less dollars in the system.
I agree. I
So
agree.
that's salaries, that's
Hmm.
jobs, that's wages,
Hmm.
that's company, that's restaurants who are just not getting that excess money
Hmm.
that's being soaked up out the system. So
I,
yeah,
I say
it's
this:
tough.
you can make all the cuts that you want, right? But if the cost of living and the cost of goods or services do not begin to come down, you just got the same problem.
Yeah.
That same
Well,
problem.
that's what I'm saying. They have to spur the economy. They're gonna have to cut. They're gonna have to cut to try to get things going. And
Yeah,
hopefully that's going to allow because they need investment from businesses right now.
they do.
Companies they know there's not enough revenue coming in, so what do? They're not buying that, they're not buying from other companies, they're not
Hmm.
hiring anymore, they're cutting 10%, 20%
Correct.
staff.
Correct.
They got to
Correct. Correct.
reverse that, so they have to have a
Correct.
upward trajectory.
Yeah, and that's fine. But yes, I agree with you when it comes to companies need to invest more. But this current economic climate is not a business friendly investment
Nah,
environment.
nah.
So why would a company come across the seas, right, or even here domestically, making an investment? Now we're making investments in real estate because it's so incentive based. I mean, it's already cooked in the cold, and we know how to make that sandwich. All the people are not in our boat. I'm like, Cliff, things get tight. We can go out and find a deal, make 10, 20, 30 grand, and we back up to par. The regular person can't do it because they
Mm,
don't have that skill level. And so that's what I'm saying is people have to make more money. Right now in this economy, customers, borrowers have to make more money. You have to have a side hustle. If you do not, you will always be almost drowning every single month. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how much you cut the rates. If the cost of goods and services don't and debt don't come down, bruh, it's a moot point because your consumer base is barely making it.
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the only way the salaries would have to go up.
And
And
how that's going to work though, because the cost of goods services is costing the producers of those goods services more money. They pass it on to the consumers.
yeah, the only reason why they would do that is if they see growth. They're willing to make the investment now for future profits, but that would only happen if the marketplace is in a good place. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
you've got to see. I would make an investment if I saw 3% interest rates and there's no reason why it would change in the future. If I'm looking
true.
down 5 years, the market's in a good place. We got no issues. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Really like 2019. 2019 was cool. It was
And
a
then COVID
decent
hit.
year. You know what I mean?
Then COVID hit, and
Oh,
then that's what set us behind. And I won't get into that, but it's like we're still trying to recover from the COVID situation
y-
because but the government shut everything down and infused a lot of fake money into the system.
yeah. Because basically for the last 4 years, no one could project. I can't do a 10-year analysis because we're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't even know what next week's gonna look like.
Mm-hmm.
And even
Mm-hmm.
last year. So for 4 years, we can't do forward projections.
Yeah, we couldn't.
We still can't. Me and you were talking about what's gonna happen in 3, 4 months. We can't
Exactly.
project.
He's right, guys. He's right. The great ones are always thinking 3 or 4 months ahead. And so now me and Cliff will still have our mentality on, okay, the next 3 months, what we got? Next 3 months, what we got? Because we're making a very powerful move now because, as Cliff said initially, when those rate cuts begin to actually begin to come, which is a kind of a bat signal to the market, all of a sudden you see property values go up. So now you have to borrow more money. You have to borrow more money to buy those properties at a higher interest rate. Can the consumers afford that? Most of them, no. And that's why I'm saying we got to see. It really depends on the only way you can kind of delay the inevitable is to unleash the asset of oil and natural gas. Then you begin to see things kind of tape off. If that makes some sense.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, where do you see the market? What's your guess? When do you think they're gonna do rate cuts?
I agree with you. It's gonna be the second, the beginning of
Mhm.
the second quarter. This first one was kind of see how things are going to go. It's an election year as well, also. So that's going to be a
Right.
lot of spending going on, a lot of look what I done did, and all the lies. I just tell everybody, just look at the fruits. Don't get spun. Look at the fruits. That's it. You agree, Cliff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they gonna you can't listen to talk, man.
No, you
It's
can't.
the actions is gonna tell you everything.
Everything. Cliff is right, y'all. But man, let's get to the top of the roof real fast, guys. Man, Cliff, I actually sent over to Cliff this information via video. There was some rumblings of a potential mortgage collapse, and they provided some data to kind of walk through. So I said, Cliff, man, this would be a good topic to talk about. It flows right into a current market analysis, and then you and I can respond to it. All right, Cliff, let's get into it real fast. Here we go.
U.S. mortgage market just collapsed again in what is an ominous sign for the housing market in 2024. It suggests that home prices will need to go down. It suggests that lots of people in the real estate industry are unfortunately going to be laid off. This is a
Wow.
historic decline in the mortgage market that you guys need to be paying attention to. With a new
Mm.
report from the Mortgage Bankers Association showing that the mortgage purchase application index just plummeted 19% from where it was 1 year ago. That decline means that home buyers are applying for mortgages now at the lowest rate in almost 30 years. With the average
Are you seeing that, Cliff? Are you seeing the same thing when you got in the market as well when it comes to that data point?
Yeah, the the um the mortgage market is dead. I mean, it is. If you've been following at all, and I'm giving y'all just letting y'all know, mortgage brokerages are going
Mhm.
bankrupt right and left.
They are.
If you're make your money from writing mortgages and mortgages are at an all-time high and housing is at an all-time high, there's no money to be made.
None at all. A lot of mortgage brokers and loan officers are going into the financial services arena, and they're beginning to offer life insurance as an additional income stream source. So I believe refinances are down 95%.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
That's
agree.
it's dead. It's
Because I
dead.
remember when they dropped interest rates before, man, I was working tons of refinances, tons. But
Do you think Cliff will get down to what's the lowest rate we'll get down to in the next 3 to 5 years?
for a mortgage,
Yeah.
you'll probably get down to like 4.75 if you have a good credit score. I think that will be
Four
the
point.
bottom of the market for like real estate investments. Probably
Yeah.
around 6.5 is
Six,
where
six
we'll
and a half.
settle in at.
Okay.
Enough to make things worthwhile to get off the bench.
Yeah.
4.75. Okay, I got some
Yeah.
equity I might exchange,
Yeah.
but also not so low that they can't cut for an emergency.
Sure. Okay. That actually makes some sense. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Here we go.
average monthly purchase index now averaging 156. You can see that that's down
Yeah, it's
19%
bad.
year over year. It's also down 40% from
Wow.
pre-pandemic levels. It's lower than the 2008 crash. And
Wow.
yes, now it's at the same level of mortgage demand as the mid 1990s. And
Whoa.
ultimately, what this suggests is that the spring housing market is going to be a ghost town, everyone. These historically low levels of mortgage purchase applications today mean that we're going to have very few home buyers closing on homes in the
Mm,
spring, which is something that I think is going to put downward pressure on home prices,
yeah.
particularly in the states where home prices are already exhibiting the most downward momentum. Now,
Yeah.
at this point in the housing cycle, there's lots of people out there who are skeptical that home prices are actually going to decline meaningfully. After
Mm,
all, people like myself and other housing market pundits have been talking about a housing crash for the last 3 years. To this point, it's something that's only occurred in a handful of markets. So,
mm.
what could would be the powder keg to cause these prices to decline? Well, we have on one side of the equation a big decline in mortgage applications,
Okay.
which means a big decline in buyer demand for the spring. However, what we're also seeing now on the supply side of the spectrum is an increase in mortgage defaults for
Whoa.
existing homeowners, something that could cause more inventory and forced selling to hit the market this year.
Now, Cliff, when you hear mortgage defaults, what's the first investment strategy that comes to your mind?
Oh yes, foreclosures.
Gotcha. Now, I know it's foreclosures, but my question to you is what is the first investment strategy that comes to mind when you hear of default mortgages?
Oh man, if they're in default, I might be able to do some subject to. Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Subject to investing is going to be probably one of the most popular strategies moving forward, as well as owner financing. Watch, it's going to come. So, with this information, Cliff, man, he goes on a little bit further. But with this information, and what are your thoughts, man, concerning the mortgage applications? Do you agree with him when it comes to a potential mortgage collapse? What do you think, brother?
Nah, I don't see the collapse because if we had high unemployment,
Mm,
I would agree with them. Yeah, people have 2 or 3 jobs, but they have jobs, right? So it's not so I think with unemployment being still being low, I mean, we're talking about historically low.
hmm
Um, I don't see a collapse. I see a building block. I think the only reason why, and I talk to a lot of people who want houses and all this kind of stuff, it's the interest rate.
mm,
It's not even the price. People don't like the prices. Don't get me wrong, but
hmm
it's the interest rates.
hmm
I was talking to someone last week who said he's ready to buy. He got approved by a mortgage broker, but he got approved higher interest rate. He was at 8%. He
Woo!
said, I'm not going and buying nothing at 8%. I said, okay, what do you feel? When would you look into buying? He said, if it gets below 6, then
Okay.
it might make some sense.
So when do you see it be below 60? You think about this year or next year?
I think this year. I
When?
think and back end of the year.
So you're talking about really next to election time.
Right. Third quarter, fourth quarter, you'll see it drop. I think they're gonna come out and they're probably gonna do a quarter point, then a half a point after that.
Okay.
And maybe another half a point by the end of the year. So you can see a 1.25, you know what I'm saying, going down. We're at, let's call it 7% now.
Yeah.
So that puts you at 5.75.
Interesting, man. We're gonna see, brother, how that is. I think when it comes to the rate, you may get down to below the sixes because it's an election year, which further proves to me it's a PR move. That's all
Mm,
it realistically is. If a event is driving your decision making and not the positive effects of the decision making, are you off base? You're off base. It's an election year. Trash, garbage. No, man. It's just good for the consumer to make their lives better. Business is about making someone's life better, not winning elections. If that makes some sense,
right, right.
right?
Yep.
That's what that is. Now, let's graduate. Now, do I think it's going to be a potential mortgage collapse? It depends on if the consumer that they are targeting can afford to go out and buy a property at an increased interest rate. Yeah, it's not 8%, but it's 6%. But can they afford that PITI payment? Even at that price point, because as you said, the price points are going to go up. Can they afford that payment? I don't know because my source of concern is the cost of goods is maybe still most likely still be high, as well as the cost of services and people's credit card debt is going to be high. So can they afford the credit card payment and also a higher mortgage payment?
Right. Yeah. But so it's real estate. So it's gonna be local. And I'll give you a little shout out here. And I let Dale know I'm actually working for a client and doing an analysis. He had
hmm
a specific area that he wanted to do analysis on, wanted me to do some projections. I did analysis on that area, and I looked at that compared to all of DFW, right? Dallas
Yeah.
Fort Worth out here.
hmm
Dale, the projections are wild for Dallas.
hmm
Projections are wild. I'm seeing stuff like just Dallas is supposed to add 700,000 people over the next 8-9 years.
Hmm.
We're looking at places like I think Prosper
Hmm.
is supposed to almost double in
Yeah,
size in the
I
next 8
agree.
years.
Savannah as well.
So yeah, Savannah, I think Savannah was like 65%
Hmm.
increase from where it is now. So anyway, right now, while uh you can buy in Dallas around Dallas, I've already started. I started looking at property. When I started doing this analysis, I turned some of my attention to the DFW area. I already own a rental property out here. I wish I had the other one I told you. Wish I had kept that one. I'm learning my lesson.
For sure.
Going back out. Dallas is a great place to invest. It's gonna go up.
Yeah, I'm a person that thinks differently. Dallas is a great place to invest, and I do see growth in Savannah, Prosper, Frisco, Melissa,
Mhm.
Anna as you're going north, right? Even close to Denton, Lake Dallas. I see that area kind of going up a little bit as well. Also, my concern is Dallas, and I like going in the areas to where most investors are overlooking. That's why I like the state of Mississippi, guys, because Mississippi is so behind in technology, agriculture, and development. There's so much stuff out there. Also, Atlanta, that area, or just Georgia in a whole. Arkansas, that's another area. So for me, I call those mid-tier towns, and I target them because if you do it right, you can realistically own them boys. Like right now, I'm currently negotiating a deal with a city in Mississippi. They need
Mm.
help designing their water system stuff, but they want me to acquire land and develop that land and to get it help them get it annexed from the county to the city. Well, they don't have the money to develop the water supply system to be able to make that happen for additional population, right? So I said it's fine. So we're negotiating what it's going to look like. My team is going to most likely design the entire thing and do a joint venture partnership with that city to where we share profits on that thing. So yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I think there's two different markets. You got one that's a cash flow market. I think that's
Yeah,
what Mississippi is a good cash flow market.
yeah,
And then you have an appreciation market. Um,
valid.
yeah, Dallas, my goal, I'm even going small. I'm looking for maybe one to two houses a year because
Mm,
it's higher price point,
yeah,
but I'm holding on to them boys.
yeah, that makes sense.
Mississippi, same thing, but man, you could buy a house in Mississippi in 10 years, it'd be the same price.
It sure would, man. That sure would, man. That makes sense, man. Now,
Mhm.
Cliff, let's graduate right over to the skill level because we talk about the current market analysis, issue that we see in the market, right? And then we talk about a strategy. Here's the strategy. The strategy is buy versus lease. Which is the best option in today's economy, Cliff? I'll go first, and then you can go second. It really depends on what your strategy. And this is coming from a homestead scenario, not an investor scenario. Okay. Homestead meaning that you're living in the house. Investor is totally different strategy. But for homestead, it really depends on the strategy. Number one, if you want to buy, be okay with borrowing at a high interest rate, overpaying for the property as well, and paying a higher mortgage payment. If you can afford that, do your thing. Do your thing. For me, if you want to wait for the market to settle down, as Mick have been talking about, right? Rates to come down, I would lease for a little bit. I would lease and watch the market. Just watch it. If you really want to be slick with it, I would negotiate a lease to own scenario with your landlord if you chose the leasing option, so that you can actually have a portion of your lease payment count toward the down payment and or closing costs, right? Uh, and then buy it. Or if you still don't want to borrow it at that interest rate high, negotiate a lease to own scenario, but actually have your landlord own or finance the property to you. I mean, there's a plethora of ways you can get that done, but that's what I would say when it comes to that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, right now, I think, like I said, I've been saying it for a little while. I think there's a sweet spot, right? I think that's
Mhm.
going to be December. I
Yeah.
like buying in December, November, December,
Mm,
January. I like that because nobody's buying at that point, and
nobody.
sometimes you get a lot of deals you overlook. I bought a lot during December.
Yeah.
Um, I think December is going to be a good time to actually because interest rates will have one, maybe up to
Correct.
three cuts by that point.
Correct.
but prices would not have jumped that much yet.
Agree.
We wouldn't. So I think December. That's when I'm kind of looking to get in December, maybe January.
Makes sense, man. That makes sense. We're going to see. We'll see what actually happens, guys. It's going to be very interesting to see what actually happens. But this is going to be a very interesting year. Very interesting year. And I
Yeah.
agree with Cliff. I'm going to see. I think 25 basis points. And guys, when we say basis points, that just means percent. In other words, 0.25%. So basis points, guys, know the terminology. Basis points just means percent. So when we say 0.25 basis points, that is 0.25% or points. Know this terminology. All right. Cliff, you want to say anything else, man, before we get off, man? Let on, man.
No, man. It's. I think we in for a wild year.
We are.
This is. I want everybody to understand the situation we in is unique. I mean,
Ooh,
this has only happened what twice in the last 150 years or something.
he's correct.
This extremely unique. What we what happened over COVID and us printing all this money and all
Hmm.
everything supply chain and all that
Hmm.
stuff. It's wild. It's wild.
It's real wild. Cliff was right, man. It's gonna be a wild wide, but
Yeah.
we have a plan for us. We have a plan for you that we'll roll out. We be putting everything together as well, also from a training standpoint, a JV standpoint, and a lending standpoint, a GC standpoint. We have all that kind of getting that ironed out because we kind of see during this time frame you need that mentor. You need that person you can walk with to counsel you. But if that person can counsel you and give you access to the capital as well, I mean, you're golden. Would you agree, Cliff?
Oh yeah, that's always gonna help you out. Because you got somebody who's walked the walk. You know what I mean? So they know what to look out for. So that's always gonna put you in a better position.
All the time. Now, guys, we actually have a sponsor, American Rounds, guys. This is a company that I invested in, guys, and they wanted to partner with us, guys. So we're gonna go and play them real quickly, guys. Then me and Cliff will come back out, man, and get it close out. Here we go.
Majors. I'm the CEO of American Rounds. We are in Pell City, Alabama at Fresh Value grocery store installing the first ever automated retail machine for ammunition. The stores were really the inspiration for it. I mean, they knew their customer base and they came to us and thought this would be a really good opportunity for their customer base. There's a lot of hunting community here in Pell City and thought that their customers would love an opportunity to be able to buy ammunition here at the store.
We're super excited to offer, what we think is the first ammo kiosk. We're always looking for ways to give our customer another reason to come visit our stores. Anything that we can do to help them make their shopping trips easier based on the feedback that we've gotten just from customers today. They are so excited about us having the ammo kiosk.
We're getting ammo!
One of the ways we're changing the landscape of ammunition sales is to make it more available. Being able to move into a place like a grocery store, supermarket makes a lot more available to the public. But we're taking a different approach to it. Traditionally, ammunition is sold at outdoor type stores, your sporting goods stores, and it just sits on a shelf. It's very accessible. Because of that, there's a high rate of theft. But with our machines, as you can see here, we have a very secure automated retail machine. We're able to age verify. We scan a driver's license. It then takes 360 facial recognition for the purchase and matches it to the ID. So the machines really provide an opportunity for safe, affordable, and available ammunition sales.
There is no doubt that foot traffic will increase based on the feedback that we've gotten. And again, we're super excited not only to have it here, but in other locations in Fresh Value as well.
We're really excited about where we're going. We are going to continue to expand here in Alabama. We have a machine slated to go into Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas. So over the next year, we're looking forward to, seeing these roll out all throughout the South and the Southeast.
Guys, that's American Rounds, guys. One of the sponsors, man. I love that because the company is just exploding, guys. It's crazy how much growth we've actually had. We'll be in 300 stores in the next 18 months, which was crazy. We'll be in 60 by the end of this year, 24 by was it May or June? So I mean, it's just taking off for us. So man, follow them anywhere. Go to AmericanRounds.com or follow them on Instagram or any social media platform at American Rounds, guys. It is a great company, guys. But Cliff, man, that's all I have for today, man. You want to say anything before we get off, we don't?
No, man, like I said, man, say it every week. You one deal away.
Just one deal away, guys. But guys, you know how we end it every single time, guys. Before you leave, and while you can, take that damn picture and give it to your mama and them. Don't get mad at us. Talk to Jesus about that thing and holler at
Yeah.
you about it. All right, guys. See you next week. Peace.
God give thanks. Bless God give thanks.